All right, what's up, fellas? It's time for Wake Up Mintzy, presented by our friend at Dude Wipes on this lovely Thursday morning. I am your host, Barstool Sports, joined as always by Tyler Moody. What's up, Mr. Moody? How are we doing this morning?
Hey, fantastic, Ben. Glad to see you back in action. What you got on your face over there, man?
Man, I did think we got to, we're kind of realized today I woke up and it's about time I need to shave again. Things are looking a little rough. My hair's everywhere, but you know what? We're here. We're doing it, and we've got a fun guest today. We're going to be joined by, well, I don't know if you want to call her Shelly, who saved the Vandy Whistler's life a couple years ago, or actually everyone knows her as Kate. She's going to join us, so I appreciate all the support from the Barstool Yak. We're trying to multitask here and do this show. Excited to see her. A bunch of stuff to get into. First of all, I'm going to start out with the Yak stuff. I was on the Yak the last few days. I want to address these rumors and end this right now. People are saying, why hadn't KB been invited on the show yet? KB is invited on the show. I'm giving him a formal. This whole thing is just a huge non-story, and I'm getting trolled all the time why KB hadn't been on the show. It's all BS. So KB formally invited on the show. We're off next week. The week we're back, KB, whole show with KB and me, if he'll accept. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell if he's mad at me or what. But that week we're going to book him one day, and I can't wait to have him on the show. I want to end this right now. A lot of stuff to get into today. First of all, we'll go some inside Barstool stuff. You see the macrodosing science fair stuff, Moody?
Yeah, I did. We actually have a video clip of it here if you want it.
Yeah, I kind of Ron Burgundy did a little bit. But the macrodosing science fair came out yesterday, and it was funny stuff. Me and Nikki Smokes and Shay did a project on Zen and why they're not as bad as the government thinks they are. And I completely forgot what I was trying to say at the time. Imagine that, and I got this clip. People are going to do what they want to do, and I feel the pouches are a much more productive, healthy way to do nicotine than the smoking and vaping. And it's not just your opinion, my opinion. We have testimonials from
He said the same words.
yeah,
He had a human teleprompter behind him that he read off of.
so we have testimonials from
Some
three
Anchorman
of
shit.
them.
I told you.
Yeah, I We have didn't know what the testimonials hell I was doing there. I know that's kind of my common excuse. But the Macrodosing Science Fair, check it out if you hadn't yet. PFT here in Foster do a great job, as always. Last year I did the Grow the Game college baseball one. This year we tried the Zen thing, proving why they're actually not a bad product for you. Of course, we have no science-based evidence whatsoever. Shout out Ohio State. First playoff game for his team last night. They won. Moody, did you see this final score? They won 72-9. Is that even real?
That's an absolute beatdown.
72-9. And Ohio State coming to Barstool, I believe starts like March 9th. He, quit his teaching job. He's just coaching through the playoffs. He said the Final Four, I believe, starts March 11th. Went about 63 in their first round. Probably a good sign that they may be making a run. But want to give him a shout out. They got shirts. Love what's going on there. All right, let's get into some sports stuff. Bunch of stuff going on here. Moody, is today a holiday in your world? Because I believe spring training's back.
Yeah, spring training is officially back today. The Padres and the Dodgers getting spring training underway. So it is officially baseball season finally. I'll tell you what, I think obviously the Dodgers, the moves they made this offseason, bringing in Ohtani, Yamamoto. Yamamoto could potentially win Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young. I think he's going to be in play for both. Definitely he's the Rookie of the Year front runner in the National League, which makes sense. The Dodgers probably will have the best record in baseball. Those are two bets that I would be certainly inclined to take. Yamamoto to win NL Rookie of the Year, Dodgers to have the best record in baseball. And then also one that I really like right now, Freddie Freeman at 22-1 to lead Major League Baseball in RBIs. He's going to have Ohtani and Mookie Betts hitting right in front of him. Now, the only problem is Ohtani hits a lot of home runs. He could steal some of those RBIs. But assuming that Freddie Freeman's going to see those two on the base pass quite a bit, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. I really like Freddie Freeman, 22-1 to lead Major League Baseball in RBIs. You can get that right now on DraftKings.
Yep. All right. Spring training starting. Good stuff. I want to touch on college basketball from last night. Moody, this has been the theme all year in college basketball. No one can win on the freaking road. What's going on? And we saw two more upsets last night. Illinois falling at Penn State in kind of a thriller. Penn State actually played in their volleyball arena. And then I believe we got the clip from Baton Rouge, do we? No, we don't. All right. But LSU beat Kentucky at the buzzer. And it's kind of like a microcosm of this season. You look at Kentucky, they've been up and down all year and inconsistent. They have their biggest win of the year at Auburn Saturday. And so what happens next? You just lose on the road as a 6.5-point favorite in Baton Rouge. But huge win for LSU, who won on the road at South Carolina and now beat Kentucky. Matt McMahon kind of saving that era. But, man, what a wild ending. LSU winning on a tip-in. Kentucky made a shot with 11 seconds left, and then LSU with a tip-in at the buzzer. And, I think people are, you and I have talked about it a lot, that college basketball, we obviously love it in March, but kind of getting in the spirit of it a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's almost March, so every day that March creeps closer, my enjoyment of college basketball raises just a little bit. And obviously, conference tournaments are incredibly fun. And then whenever you finally get to the big dance, it's the most exciting time of the year for basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. So, but we're getting near the conference tournaments, and I can't wait for March Madness up here at Barstool Sports. More college basketball tonight. So let's touch on NBA back. Dude, this NBA break, it seemed like it was forever, didn't it? I mean, hadn't it seemed long?
Yeah, it certainly has.
Well, it starts back tonight. I was looking at odds on DraftKings, I believe, to win the title. And right now, Boston a plus 260 favorite. Everything starts back tonight. Do you have any long shot thoughts here or anything? I'll run through it. It's Boston plus 260, Milwaukee 7-1, Clippers 5-1, the Suns 13-1. The Nuggets are obviously one of the favorites too, as they should be. I was a little surprised. The Thunder and T-Wolves are way, way up there right now as far as their seeding, but they're not getting as much respect when it comes to the futures, which doesn't necessarily surprise me. The T-Wolves are 22-1, the Thunder 25-1. Knicks 22-1. I know they're having a good year. Sixers 25-1, Lakers 30-1, and the Golden State Warriors are 40-1. Do you have any thoughts?
Obviously, I haven't followed the NBA as much this year as I normally do. I kind of like the Suns, though. I feel like they're a pretty good value right there. I could see them getting really hot. Obviously, Bradley Beal's lockdown defense in the playoffs could be big. I could see Durant and Booker getting really hot. They just have to be healthy. I think they're one of the threats coming out of the West. As
always, Wake Up Mintzy, sponsored by Dude Wipes. If there was ever a show that needed a mess to be cleaned up, it's this one. You can get them at Target, Walmart, Amazon, and nationwide. Why would you ever use dry, scratchy toilet paper? Because everything feels better when it's wet than when it's dry. And Dude Wipes will change your life. They're the best at cleaning up messes, and we're lucky to have them as a part of Wake Up Mintzy. Just love this product, though, Moody. Love it. And shout out that commercial we did. All right, I got called out yesterday because my fast banana wasn't very fast. So we're going to try to beat it. Moody, you ready to clock this thing? What did we have yesterday, 19
seconds? You were at 19.6 yesterday.
Just a horrible time. Just unacceptable. So I'm going to try to beat that.
All right, I got the stopwatch ready to roll. I'm going to take you a little close up here. All right, you ready?
All right,
let's go.
Going. Better, right?
13.95 seconds. Essentially.
6-second improvement.
14 seconds
on the fast banana for breakfast today. That's, you know what that means, Moody? We're coming in here and we mean business, and I think that's what we're showing today. One thing, Moody had an idea on this. What do you think? Is this a weird thing? Because Moody and I were debating. You were debating this and said it's weird. I'm barefoot today because I got a pedicure last night. Is that weird? Do you think that's weird? I'm curious what the chat thinks.
All right, first up, let me get a close up of these feet.
Yeah, I got my beautiful feet today. I know Jerry bringing back Feet the Streets, Arch Madness. We're embracing the feet here at Barstool. I got a pedicure last night because I don't think that's weird though. Like, people think that's weird for a guy. I don't know. I run all the time. I'm on my feet all the time. I want clean feet. I think my feet look great.
I'm getting a nice little close up right there. I have never personally gotten a manicure or a pedicure. It's just not something I've ever done. I'd love to hear from Chad. Chad, have you ever gotten a manicure or a pedicure? Ben, this is something that you do occasionally, though.
No, I do it like once every couple of months. But, I mean, it's also because I run a lot, and so I'm on my feet, and I think it's really important to have, nails that are clipped and clean and good feet skin just because of how much I run. But I'm just curious, is that a weird thing? And I'll be honest, Moody, the reason I found out about it, like Drew Brees talked about it in his book that he got them, and that was when I was like, okay, this isn't weird. If Drew Brees gets them, that it's okay to get them.
Well, listen, if Drew Brees is doing it, he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, so I'm I could understand that. Do you think this makes you better today? Are you going to put up a better performance because you got this pedicure yesterday?
I do feel good, man. I just shaved a little bit. I don't know if I have shaving cream all over me, but I got, clean feet with my pedicure and ran like 3.75 miles last night. I'm feeling good in here today, Moody. It's Thursday. We're lucky to be here with the Stoolies. We're going to be joined by Kate here in a minute, and I think it's all positive. Also, check out the Dozen Team Smockin', our first match last night with myself and Titus and Kinjack since the big Sopranos incident. That was just nuts looking back on it when I was traded for Kirk Minahan and then I got vetoed and all the drama that came about. And I was trying to figure out if I could still be on Kinjack and Titus's team. And last night we had our first match since against your mom. If you hadn't checked it out, I don't think I want to spoil it right now because a lot of people watch the Dozen in the morning. But check it out. We're trying to prove we can function as a team again. And did I screw up once again, which hopefully not. But they're treating me with kid gloves. Titus actually has a new dump button, which is actually fitting for dude wipes. But we're super careful when I give him the final answer now on the Dozen. But check out the Dozen. Amazing product. Jeff actually changed some stuff up. He has a Sunday. Now he's doing a Sunday night feature match of the week. Follow the Dozen trivia. I'm already excited. I believe the tournament's going to be in June this year, but big fan. Also, college football playoffs. Moody, they're meeting now already. We hadn't even had one 12-team playoff yet, and they're meeting to have 14 teams? Let's call this what it is. It's a money grab. You hadn't even had one 12-team season, and they're talking about going to 14 teams in 2026. It's got to be about the money, which I understand. But don't you need to expand to 12 before you get to 14?
Yeah, I would think so. The problem is they're going to end up watering down the product, right? You bring in too many teams, you water down the regular season. They don't mean those games don't mean quite as much. So that's my only worry. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a money grab. They just moved to 12 teams. They need to go ahead and chill out. Let us enjoy the 12-team playoff for the next few years before they even think about any kind of expansion. They need to see how that plays out first and foremost.
And finally, before we're about to be joined by Kate here in a second, I want to bring up Moody. What the hell happened with the cell phones this morning?
I am still in SOS mode. So it happened to a lot of people in the South. I don't know.
Should be SOL. You like your shit out of luck.
Yeah, but I'm in SOS mode. I have no service outside of being connected to Wi-Fi. It's happened to people all across the country, especially in the South. So Ben had service today. We're both on AT&T. Ben had service. I did not. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. But right now I'm still on SOS. I fly back to Louisiana today, so I'm hoping that doesn't impact my flights or anything.
And you said everybody in the South's having trouble, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people do. I'm assuming my family's out. I really don't know. But yeah, a lot of people across the country, especially in the South, dealing with outages from AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Ben, if the grid was hit and everything went down, do you think you could survive?
I would be in big, big trouble. I would go. I'll tell you, I'd go to my family's farm in the Mississippi Delta and just get away from everything. And I guess we can. I'd have to learn how to grow some crops, I guess. But I know I'd go get off the grid. But man, I know that movie came out this week about the world thing. I forgot the name of it, but I don't know, man. I just feel like we all take for granted the power grid thing, and if it just went down, all anarchy would happen in a hurry. What could you survive, Moody?
I think I would be a little more capable of surviving than you would. I grew up in Texas, in the country, so I've done some hunting and some fishing, and I think I would probably be okay. We've got some land out there. We could put together some crops, so I feel a little bit more inclined, or I think I would have a better chance of surviving, and I've got some guns. I'm always, ready to go take some things if we need to.
Fair enough. We're going to dodge the political debate here. All right, we're now joined by Kate. Coming on and thrilled to come on.
Can I come on in?
Yeah, you can come on in. We're joined by Kate. She's back at Barstool this week. Thrilled to have her back on the Yak. Been gone. Been on maternity leave the last couple of months.
I've been trying to call Travis all morning.
Okay.
But the SOS signal's going. I can't.
The SOS signal's gone.
I'm freaking out.
Well, Kate also doubly known. I believe, Moody, you got the clip of Shelly prank calling me last year from Birmingham.
Yes, I do.
The SEC attorney when somebody saved the Vandy Whistler.
They had told me how easy it was to prank call you, and
they were not lying.
I didn't believe it, and then lo and behold, it was.
All right, here we go. I'll play that clip real quick.
Ben Mintz and Shelly is next in Tennessee. What's up, Shelly?
Hi, I just wanted to speak to Mintz real quick because I've been seeing the Vandy Whistler thing. And I'm so I'm from Murfreesboro.
Oh, it is.
And I took my 4-year-old son Travis to a game at Vandy, and I was wrapped up in the whole thing. It was a tight game. Next thing you know, I look over. I cannot see my son. I start screaming his name. Travis, Travis, I'm panicking. The Vandy Whistler himself came over to me and said, we're going to find your boy. He starts whistling so loud, the whole place stopped. The whole game stopped. It's the Vandy Whistler calling for Travis and whistling. My son heard that whistle, thought it was something cool, came running. That's the only reason I got my son back. So to hear you ripping on him like that is really disturbing. So I just think you have everybody ripping on him. He's the reason I have my son.
Yeah, yes.
Well, Shelly, I'm glad you have your son, and I don't really know how to respond to that. Maybe the Vandy Whistler does have a heart after all.
Thank you, Shelly.
Thank you.
You have your son, and I don't really know how to respond to that. Maybe the Vandy Whistler does have a heart after all.
I asked you, Shelley, about some of the confrontations internally at the office.
By the way,
Barstool.
Kate's
the
accidentally
Rico-
slipping
He
into
lost
the
it.
Philly accent was so fucking good.
amazing.
The
Delco.
So
All right, and we're back. I wanted to brought that up, that clip from, so I guess it was May of 2022 when I got in the incident with the Vandy Whistler in Birmingham at the SEC tourney. And the next day, I was on the next round live in Birmingham, and Big Cat just started people prank calling me from the Yak. And I got to learn, and I've kind of done this now, where anything between noon and 2 p.m. Central just has to be taken with a grain of salt, because I've let y'all mess with me way, way too much to the Yak through the years.
I know.
And just, if it's between noon and 2, it's always a prank. And I've only, I mean, why is this so difficult for me to pick up?
You should keep an alarm on your phone.
Yeah.
A Yak alarm. And now Big Cat got air tags. He's going to tag you like you're a shark off the coast that people can track. And
I know. And you know, this big government, I mean, they're going to know where I am. I mean, it's like the song, like they just wanna know what I say and know what I do. Like,
well, we want to put it live so the whole country can see. If they wake up in the middle of the night, where's Mintzy?
So is this going to be just during the Yak, or is this going to be 24 hours?
We were thinking 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
We were going to tag you and Widespread Panic and see where both were at all times. Usually together.
Well, hey, they're here next week, so there you go.
Of course.
Worlds are going to collide in Chicago because those shows got moved. But
Nice.
they're Wednesday through Friday. I'm super stoked about that. But yeah, that's so the Yak. I think I'm getting my air tag today. I want to talk to you though. First of all, excited to have you back.
Excited to be back.
I know you've had a couple. I know you've been very busy the last couple months. You got two little ones now.
2 little ones now. I have my son's turning 3 next month, and then I have a 4-month-old. Well, he's going to be 4 months, which is crazy. So
what's that age like?
A lot of blowouts.
Okay.
Which is when the poop shoots up the back of the diaper and out the neck of the onesie, and then all over you, and then a lot of vomit.
Sounds exciting.
It comes out the front, gets all over you, and then a lot of smiles. So
A lot of smiles.
Yeah, totally.
Well-meaning.
Yeah.
So I guess you're happy to be back at work then.
I am happy to be at work. It's hard because you're like, oh no, I don't want to leave them. But then as soon as you drop them off, the safe when you're in the car with the silence in your coffee, you're like, this is sick. This is very sweet. Yeah.
So you decided you moved to Chicago, I believe, last summer. How's that going for you so far?
I love it here. I don't know. All my neighbors are crazy nice. Everybody, like the first week we got here, this is a big block party, which I think you'll be into.
Okay.
Huge block party community where they block off the streets and there's like moon bounces everywhere and the neighbors are dragging kegs out into their yards. And I don't know. It's just so much fun. It's so much easier to make friends, at least here, as a very awkward lady. So I'm assembling a mom squad that's a force to be reckoned.
Oh, you got your mom squad.
Down at the local park.
It's a very awkward man. I think it's easier to make friends here too.
Yeah.
And I'm digging it so far as well. I mean, it's good vibes in Chicago. I feel like people are more approachable here. It's like a different
yeah, it's a different vibe. It's pretty good. I can't complain.
Well, I want to get into your background a little bit because I know obviously, you and Chaps, y'all have had and Cons have had the Zero Block, the podcast for a long time, but you were in the military. How did you get into Barstool? I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Oh man. So really, I wish I had some super patriotic story about how I just wanted to fight for America and blah, blah, but I was a huge piece of shit in college, like enormous piece of shit.
How long did it take you to graduate?
10 years maybe, but
Nice. You and me both.
but I was
Making me feel better.
I know. Oh, please. There's a lot of us here. I feel like that we're on the decade program. And it was just for a communications degree. It's not like I was doing rocket science or anything like that. It was like no offense to other communication degrees. It's like the dumbest. It's like, I'm an idiot. What should I do? Communications. Bam. Anyways,
The Philly area, right?
Philly area, but I was going to school in Western Pennsylvania. Shout out Indiana University of Pennsylvania. The best of the best. Good party time there. But I went to play Division II field hockey.
Okay.
Started playing. I was a bench sitter. I was like, man, this sucks. The rugby girls from down the hall were like, we have a game you could actually play and you can drink at the same time. And I was like,
I mean,
I'm in. Yeah, so I quit the field hockey team, joined the rugby team, and I became like, my goal in life was to be like Tommy Boy, essentially. Like, moved into the rugby house, started partying 24/7, and then by my senior year, with one semester left, I had like a 1.8 GPA, wasn't going to any of my classes, was doing some things shouldn't have been doing.
Misunderstandings.
Yeah, some misunderstandings. I feel like you also...
Lots of misunderstandings. I followed my sophomore year when I lived in the frat house in Ole Miss. I made a 1-2.
Yeah, okay. Oh, great.
Yeah, I had like a 3-3 my freshman year. My parents thought I was doing okay, and then we just kind of fell off a cliff.
Yeah, huge nosedive. Literally. Nosedive. And then I had to try. Then I got arrested. Little bit of drunk in public, and then
that was it though. Just drunk in public.
No, the problem was when I tried to start resisting. I swinging my arms like a windmill.
You fought the law, and the law won.
The law won big time. So then I had to go to class. It was a whole to do, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I went home, and my parents were like, we love you, but we hate you a little bit, and you can't stay here for too much longer. So I was like, what's a plan B that will make everyone love me again? And at the time, people were super into the military. This was like the height of the war. It had picked up in Iraq, but it was like really picking up in Afghanistan.
What years is like 08?
Yes, 08 is when oh my goodness, look at you. We got to have you on CBT. But so that's when I joined the military. So on a whim, didn't know anything about it. I sat down with the recruiter. He started to give me the spiel. I was like, you don't have to. I'm down so bad. You can send me like right now. Yeah.
So when you were debating the military, why'd you just what branch you decide and why?
I knew I needed a kick in the ass. Like I knew I sucked, and I was like, I need to go with the branch that's going to beat me up the most and like maybe make me a better person. And that was the Marine Corps.
Yeah. So you were just like, screw it, I'm going to be a freaking Marine.
Yeah. I wanted to, and like, yeah.
You were in like super good shape at the time already, or you're just like, no, I got to do this.
Oh God, no. Oh, hello, Brandon. I used to do a morning show with Brandon Walker called Morning Sunshine, but this is so much better than that. Wow. Look at this set.
Brandon, would you like to come say hello? No.
Bye, Brandon.
I figured he would after Mississippi State just drummed Ole Miss. I think he's just making his presence known, but they got us good last night.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's okay. What are you going to do? So you decided, okay, well, I don't understand. So you were like, I'm going in the military. I get that. But why would you say, hey, I want to do the Marines? Like, I figured you would do like the National Guard or something, just do enough to get by. But you were like, no, I'm going all in. I'm gonna be a Marine.
Yeah, I
needed all you can be.
I needed someone screaming in my face. The only like bit of goodness I had left in my brain was that I knew I needed to like be humbled extremely, and that seemed like the branch to do it. And the other branches, like they were offering bonuses and stuff like that. I was like, nope, I want to go get yelled at on Paris Island. That's what I need. And it's honestly one of the best things I've ever done with my life.
So, what was it like first day? You go report.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're doing. And like, when did you realize like, hey, like shit's about to get real? I was not prepared. I still had a belly button ring in when I like went to leave, and they had to cut it off with pliers because they're like, what do you think this is? Like, what, like, but yeah, it's really is like the movies. You show up, it's dark. They make you, as soon as you enter the base, you have to put your head down. So you're disoriented the whole time you're there. Anytime they're transporting you, your head is down in your lap, so you don't know where you are on the island. Why do they do that?
To keep you disoriented, to keep you like on your toes. So you have to rely on each other. And then you pull up, you get out in the yellow footprints, and the doors open, these like big silver doors with the Marine Corps emblem on, and they come running out, and they just start like screaming in your face. And there's like a mist of spit going. And I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Like what? You're like, what the hell? I put myself into.
I was like, maybe college wasn't so bad, and this was a huge mistake. But it was the kick in the ass that I needed. And no, I was not in shape at all. I was like a big rugby girl who drank from a keg every night and smoked Marlboro Reds. So it was bad news bears.
So like Marine, you start training. Like how long's the first train? Like what was?
I think it was. Oh my gosh, you know this now. I think it's 3 months you're there.
So you're there like first week just getting the crap kicked out of you. Thinking like, how am I going to get through 3 months of this?
Yeah. And it was.
Did it get better? Like what was it? Like how did it progress?
After a while, you start to figure out it's a game because they'll scream at you for anything. Like it's just constant screaming in your face. And first you're frazzled and you're fucking everything up. And then by the end, and which is great now as a mom because I can have 2 kids screaming. I feel cool as a cucumber, man. I can change the diaper. I can drive the car.
Marine
covered in poo, and I'm like, this is fine. This is not a big deal. But yeah, by the end, you figure out it's kind of a game, and they need you to work as a team to get things done, and it's not about yourself anymore. Blah blah. Which I was such like a selfish asshole, still am, but like. Yeah. But it helped a lot. It was a good thing. Yeah. And I had never traveled anywhere either. Like I was Philly suburbs, like tri-state area, Jersey Shore every summer. Truly like never left that little bubble. So going to California for the first time where I was like a real palm tree, a real cactus. Like, so I needed to get out. So it was good.
So what did, like, as it progressed, like when you get near done, I'm sure there's a hell week. I don't know what you can say about that. But, like, what's that feel like? You know, you start at the beginning and then you're done 3 months. Like, how much did you feel like you grew as a person in those 3 months? I bet you felt like you matured so much.
A ton. I started going, the only like free thing where you weren't being hounded by them that you could do was go to church on Sundays. And you could pick the denomination, but you and your little group, they're like Catholics over here, Jewish people over here. And you're like, you got to march on your own to your little church or whatever that was in the thing. So I wasn't religious at all, but I was like, I want to get the fuck out of here for a couple hours. I'm going to go to church.
That's hilarious because you would never go to church. And that's like the thing you look forward to. Like, what a life shift.
I began to look forward to it so much. And then, you know, after a few Sundays, I'm like, our God is an awesome God. You know, you're like really, because it's the only person being nice to you is this like priest. And you're like, wow, they really care. But by the end, I was drinking the Kool-Aid so hard. I went to, at the very last mass, you could go to confession. And I was like, I want to go. And that poor priest was sitting there. I was like, cracked my knuckles. I'm like, where do I begin?
Yeah, the real Jesus.
Yeah, I like said, and afterwards he was like, 1,000 Hail Marys. I don't know what
how long were you sitting there confessing to? You were in there for like 3 hours.
He was like, you really don't have to tell me those details. I didn't need to know reverse cowgirl, ma'am. But you're cool. God forgives you. But yeah, no. So I like drank the Kool-Aid so hard on both. And like when I first got out, they call them boots because you're like such a dork for the Marine Corps at first. Like, you know, I went home and I was like wearing my dog tags outside my shirt with a Marine Corps shirt on, like showing my friends like karate moves like I was Chuck Norris. Like, it's very embarrassing in hindsight, but I was like,
I wouldn't be embarrassed. Be like, hell yeah, you survived. I mean, was it hard to survive that 3 months? Was there ever a moment where you're like, it sounds like you realized you wanted to do it and you were just all in. You were never like, I can't get through this.
I started to lose a ton of weight, and you know how it is too. Once you finally start to lose weight and you start to get in shape, you're like, oh man, holy shit! Yeah. I really can change. I really can do these things, and it was really exciting. But yeah, and then by the end, I was just all in on it, and I'm rambling. I forget what you asked me.
No, well, did you it wasn't, I guess I feel like I would get in there, like, think I'm, like, all in and want to do it, and then, like, day 10, I'd look, I got 2.5 months left, I'm screwed.
Well, you realize you're trapped, and the only way out is through. So it kind of also motivates you to keep going. And another thing that's kind of nice, you are not making a single decision for yourself, which is so different from the real world.
The core.
They're telling you when to eat, when to sleep, when to fart, when to like whatever. So you sleep like a baby. You're not paying bills. You're not like doing anything. You're in this little bubble where it's like you're a baby again almost. And you don't have to like, they tell you which way to turn, which way to whatever. So at night, you're laying there. You don't have any worries. All you have to worry about is waking up the next day, and you sleep like, I don't know, kind of sleep like a rock.
Sleep like a rock. So like, how early were I mean, y'all were getting up at like 4 a.m., huh?
Yeah. So somebody comes running out, lights. The lights turn on. Everybody scrambles out of their bunks and gets on the line, and then the drill instructors come out every morning.
So like y'all sleep like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., something like that?
Probably something like that. Yeah. Well, we went to bed pretty early sometimes. I feel like we were like getting ready for bed by like the sun was still up sometimes. I went in the spring. But yeah.
What was like the hardest like physical activity training y'all had to do? Like y'all running obstacle courses. I mean, I'm sure y'all had to do all kinds of. I mean, Marines, you had to do a lot of water stuff too.
When you whenever you got in trouble, or your bunkmate got in trouble, or somebody else got in trouble, that you would go to the quarter deck, which was this big rectangle in the front, and the drill instructors would just surround you and scream at you while you did push-ups and planks and whatever. But it was like the most intense. Maybe it was only a few minutes, but it was extremely intense.
Okay.
And it like every time they took you to your physical limit, kind of.
Okay.
And they used to make us, if we really fucked up, we need a batch of sugar cookie. They had a sand pit outside, so then you had to do it all in a sand pit.
Ooh.
And the sand fleas are everywhere, and it's
Yeah,
humid,
you
and
can't
it's
get
out.
like firm.
Yeah, and then you know your face was sweaty, so they'd say, "We need a batch of sugar cookies." So you had to put your face in the sand, and then you were a little sugar cookie.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't think they do that anymore. I don't know if they're allowed to do
Wow.
that. But honestly, it's really not that hard.
Okay.
Like once you figure it out, it's
the middle part. It's probably the middle part when
Yep.
you're getting yelled at and you're getting broken down. But then once you figure out, like that's the game.
yeah, it's really
So-
not that hard.
Okay, so you get done with the 3 months. You graduate. Is that what it is? You
Yep,
graduate.
graduate.
Is that a very proud moment in your life? I'm sure.
It was because I had fucked up so bad. Can we cuss on Morning Mintzy?
Yes.
I had fucked up so badly.
Yeah, you say whatever your heart desires.
Yeah. That for my family.
Just don't rap.
I'm not gonna rap. Trust me, I'm not doing that. For my family to come down, and then my uncle came, who had flown F-16s in the Marine Corps, who just an awesome guy. So he came to watch me, and my parents came to watch me, and I remember like standing so tall, and I had like really drank the Kool-Aid on it, and I was so motivated. They call him moto, like you're really moto, and yeah,
Moto.
just watching them watch me march along and everything. My dad was videotaping and stood on a fire ant hill. So we still have the videotape of him being like, "Oh God damn it!" like running by. But yeah, no, it was like super, super proud. And then you get a week at home, and then you're off to your like MOS school, your job school, and then you're off to the fleet, and then
Okay, so
Yeah.
so you get done, you get your week at home. Where did you go to school? Like, I would like to hear about your journey.
by the way, that week at home, my buddies all took me out in Philly, and I thought I could karate. I was like, I wish the motherfucker would. I know karate.
I bet you did you whip anybody's ass. that week?
I would have got my ass beat so hard. But then, so I was military police school,
Okay.
which it breaks in half. So I actually went through like police training. So driving the cop car and knowing the military laws and practicing arresting people and all this stuff. But then the second half is field training. And so I thought I was going to be a cop, like on base, a police officer. And then my plan was I was going to get out of the military and become a police officer.
Okay.
And actually, fun fact, I applied to be a New Orleans
You
cop
told
at
me
one
that
point in my
before.
life. But anyway,
NOPD, not our problem, dude. I think maybe this worked out better for you.
yes, this worked out better
being
for
a
me.
New Orleans police officer. I admire those people because that's not a job.
No, that's tough. In hindsight, this is probably way cooler than not cooler. God bless them. But anyway, so I
You went to
went to police school,
Okay.
but then the second half of
you were
it,
a cop on base.
they train you to become a cop on base, and this was in Missouri. You actually do it on an army base. But then the second half of the training is field training, because there's something called a field MP, where when it's time to get your assignment in the fleet, you either go become a cop somewhere on a base, like regular old police work, or you go to a field unit which trains to deploy, and your job is to go to Iraq or Afghanistan and train their police.
Oh wow.
Kind of thing. So I had thought I was going to go the police route. I ended up getting put in a field unit, which was rare for women to get put there. So I got put in this field unit, and I ended up training to deploy to train the Afghan police. But when it was time for the deployment to come up, I was the only woman in my unit. All the guys got to go, but because of laws, like women can't be on the front line laws at the time, which I believe have now changed, thank God. But I wasn't allowed to deploy. So I trained with these guys, they were like my brothers for like over a year.
You thought you were going the whole time.
Thought I was going the whole time.
Pull the rug on you.
And then they were like, bye, see you later. But thank God I had a staff sergeant who was like, because I could keep up with the guys just fine. Like, oddly enough, I used to be in shape. I used to not have these bingo wings. He found they were forming this thing called a FET team, a female engagement team, because they also needed women over there attached to infantry units. Because of the culture, men can't search the women, can't even look their direction, can't anything. And they're wearing full-on burqas. So that could be anybody. They could be getting a lot by, whatever. And just culturally, too. So he ended up getting me on a FET team to deploy, and I ended up being outside the wire more than most of the guys. So it ended up being a totally different they tweaked the wording to get us out in the front lines with these infantry.
So you went
in
to
it.
that. How long were you over there?
I went twice. I went once. The first time was like 10 months, and the second time was like 7, maybe. So quicker ones.
What the hell is it like? I'm some noob following it on TV and the news, but it doesn't look very pleasant. What was it like being over there?
I went to my first tour. It was called Marja, was the territory, and it was right following. I got there right at the end of the Battle of Marja's become one of the more infamous battles of the Marine Corps. These guys got down there in the middle of when it was just a major Taliban stronghold. It was where they grew all the poppy, and a huge source of the Taliban's income is heroin. It's black tar, poppy.
Yeah, like you saw in The Godfather, they convert the poppy.
And I mean, it is just endless miles of poppies and guys with trucks with the poppies, and like it was a huge. So the Taliban had been building it up, waiting for them to come in, and so it was like a massive battle.
Oh, because they knew that y'all would come in and try to take over the poppy.
Yeah.
It was almost like bait.
It was one of the main areas, like one of the main Taliban areas. So they knew that we were coming. And so I got there right at the end of one of the main battles of that war, kind of. And I was there. We were living in mud huts and sleeping on the ground. And we were there for, through the summer and into the fall. But yeah, it was.
What's it like? It's real dust. It's real dusty. Like
it's real dusty, but they have this massive, super impressive canal system.
Okay.
That keeps the desert kind of, and you'll
irrigated a little bit.
Yeah, so you'll go right from like. You'll be going through a beautiful cornfield and a beautiful poppy field and a huge marijuana field. And then it's like desert, nothing but desert for as far as you can see. But then you're in this beautiful lush area again. And the people that weren't trying to kill you were lovely.
Really?
Yeah. And you felt bad because they were like a soccer ball. They were getting kicked between us and the Taliban, and they were just trying to live. And like, it's crazy. But the people are very nice. But like no electricity. They had no plumbing, no nothing. It was like going back in time.
So you're ready if the grid goes down. You're not going to be phased.
I'm so screwed. Again, I was always like a follower, not a leader. So like I was always down. You tell me what to do, I'll do it. I'm like great at that. But yeah, no. But the Marine Corps was great for me in that way.
So you did 10 months. So you went over for 10 months, then came back here for how long?
Back because I was stationed in California in between tours, which was awesome. I lived right on the beach in California, in Southern California.
Oh, nice.
North San Diego County.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
the
lived
best.
in Rosarito Beach for like 8 months in Mexico, like 40 minutes from San Diego. I love that area.
Oh, it's awesome. It's so sweet. Any day of the week, you drive the Coast Highway and everyone's on the beach. You're like, what do people do for a living here? This is sick.
And the weather's like the same every day, whether it's winter or summer.
Yeah.
Like 70s every day.
It's the best.
Unreal.
It's the best. But my second tour was a lot different. I got a second job as a physical security specialist. So like things you see, like is the curb high enough? Or is the serpentine snaky enough to keep a car from blasting through? Is blah, 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 like security cameras. It was like more intensive on physical security. So that's what I did on my second tour. So the first tour, sleeping in the mud in this area with like gunfire every day. The second tour was like, who wants Burger King? From the
second tour was way more like
yeah, it was like a huge.
You were farther
base.
away from the action too.
I was nowhere near it. I was on a huge base that had like a Pizza Hut and like whatever. So it was Afghanistan. But and every time like, does anyone need anyone to go outside the wire today? The biggest trip I went on during that tour was I got to fly up to Kandahar for the day to see the Kandahar Poo Pond.
Where's Kandahar?
Which is
what does that mean?
The Kandahar Poo Pond. Kandahar was one of the biggest bases I think in Afghanistan, and they pooled all their shit and piss in this massive lake in the middle of the base, and people started setting up lifeguard stands. There was a big LS Poo sign there.
LS Poo?
Yeah, LS Poo.
Somebody's come up with that as an LSU player.
I know, I have a picture of it. Poo. But people started decorating like this whole beach scene in front of the Poo Pond. But it was very exciting to see the Poo Pond in person. It stinks, but
so we're like the first time you were there, like how close were you ever like in a battle or like you're close to anything?
Yeah, it was 3-6 and 2-9 are the infantry battalions that I was attached to, and pretty much they couldn't go outside the wire without getting shot at. But we took pop shots. Our base got attacked on election day. I was up. The U.S. government tried to hold. We were like, we can give them a democracy. They're going to do like elections here, just like in the U.S.
And on election day, they came after you.
yes. Election day, we get up and I go to my little outpost where
here's what we think of your democracy.
I was supposed to be searching women who were going to vote that day as if they would ever be allowed to vote out of their homes to vote there. That like it was just whatever. And the whole time going to the outpost, there was nobody. It's like the Wild West when shit was about to go down.
Like,
the whole town would be empty.
It'd
And
be like eerie.
there wouldn't be any children. You knew if there was no kids out asking you for candy, like
Something was
the
up.
prickles on your neck went up and you're like, uh-oh, something's going to go down. But me personally, no, I was not like a Rambo. I have lots of videos of the guys in firefights and I'm like, you're doing great. Like, you know,
Doing great.
yeah, good job.
Dodge those bullets.
Because their thing was like, you're not us. You don't know what the fuck you're, which I did. I like to think I did know what I was doing. But yeah, no, I was right there for all of it, but I wasn't like Ramboing shit or anything like that. No.
Oh, okay.
I was still a dumb nerd. If that's.
So you did your 2 tours. You did
Yeah.
10 months and 7 months. And you came back. How long did you stay in the military after that?
I was in for just about 5 years.
Okay.
And then they started winding the war down a little bit and they were kicking people out early. So they were like, if you have college lined up, if you can prove you have a college lined up or some kind of plan, we'll actually let you out a little bit early. So I was on a 5-year contract. I ended up enrolling. So I got married when I was in.
Okay.
And classic Marines marry Marines, like.
That's just the thing.
And I was at 10.
Oh, I bet.
When I was
bet
in.
you were in demand.
All you had to do was
What's the
spray.
guy to girl? Was it like a 10 to 1 girl to guy?
It's like 7% of the Marine Corps is women.
Yeah.
And the
I
rest
bet.
is,
I bet
yeah.
you can just like look at a dude and they're all in shape.
If you
Yeah.
sprayed a little Victoria's Secret love spray on yourself before formation, you walk through, it was like, oh, you know, and you forget. But anyway, so I got married when I was in between deployments. And it's to this thing of like, oh no, we're about to deploy. Like, I love you so much. We better get married, you know, like in case anything, like,
Oh, yeah.
just the intensity of the romance is so much like, you know, crazier during wartime,
Oh,
I
I'm
guess, or
sure.
something, you know.
'Cause everybody's thinking about the mortality. Yeah.
And we had this huge wedding, like 350 people outside Philly with all my family. I had to have a chocolate fountain. I wish hindsight, sorry about that, mom and dad. It was very expensive. Still,
They wanted you to go to the military.
they wanted me to go to the
you know,
yeah.
they asked for it.
They did, yeah, this is their fault. But anyway, yeah, got married in between second tour, and he was from New York City.
Okay.
So I applied to school at Fordham University in the Bronx, and because that's where he was from. And we both got out early. We got accepted into schools, and we both got out early and moved back to the Bronx together in New York City. So that's where I went from there. I went to Fordham, and when I was at Fordham, Jon Stewart at The Daily Show.
Okay. Who's back? Who's back this
Who was
week?
back?
Oh, yeah.
Who's
I saw that.
one of my heroes in life. But he had a program for veterans called the VIP program. I forget what the very important whatever. It doesn't matter what it was called. My brain is blanking. But I also at the time was doing volunteer work for a veteran group called the Mission Continues, where they it's like you're getting out of prison. They help you reintegrate into society again after the military by doing volunteer work, because volunteer work's a great way to get to know a city.
No doubt.
A great way to make friends, a great way to whatever. So I had to do a certain amount of volunteer hours every month.
This is in the Bronx.
This is in the Bronx. And so The Daily Show reached out to this program. It was like, do you know any veterans who are interested in media? And they're like, oh, we know this girl, Kate, who blah, blah, blah. So my caveat on that I'm rambling on is
Oh, you're good.
like so many of the good things that have happened to me in life have been because of like volunteering or like putting yourself like
No, but it's like you live for the greater good. It comes back on you.
it comes back
I
on
believe
you.
in that. I
Like
believe in that too.
like joining the Marine Corps and like all that stuff led to like all the best things in my life. But anyway,
So you're doing volunteer stuff, and did you meet Jon Stewart through this?
at the Daily, so I got to become part of that program where every week going to school at Fordham, and then every week I would go over to the studios on 11th Ave, and you got to sit there in the morning in the writer's room as they're all watching the news and starting to crack jokes and formulate their stories for the day. And even a couple times, like you could pitch jokes and they're like, no, yes,
Not so much.
But it was really interesting because I wanted to get into comedy by then. And I had a lot of people like, how the hell do you even start? Like, how do you begin stand up? How do you whatever? And the writers there were so awesome. And here's the open mics. Here's this, here's that. Here's how you get involved in it. And by the time I was done with that program, they also, too, they held a job fair for the veterans in that group. There's like 20 of us. And Jon Stewart, by the way, would walk in, because a lot of times we went later in the day. He would walk in carrying the pizzas himself, sit down, eat with you, talk with you, like salt of the earth, kindest human being on the planet. Like changed the trajectory of my entire life. Because you think like,
That's awesome.
you ever think like, well, I love comedy and media, but like I can't make a job out of it. Like
Yeah.
I can't do this. And they were like, yes, you can. And here's how. Like, here's things you got to do. But anyway, it was amazing. And we had a job fair at the end where all these employers from different giant TV media companies, like History Channel was there, and Comedy Central and different morning shows and blah blah blah, and you got to do a round robin like speed dating, and I got a job at Comedy Central through that. And the job fair was right, like one of the job fair stations where you interviewed was his desk that you see on the show, kind of. So it was like right there in the studio that he held a job fair. So I'm rambling, but like
no, I want to know. This is why.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's a fascinating story. You don't feel like you're rambling at all. So you get a job at Comedy Central. What were you doing?
I was bottom of the. I worked for the president of production at Comedy Central. I was her assistant.
And coffee. Like, what does that mean?
Scheduling, like expenses, all that stuff, and I running in and being like, "Hey, you're meeting," and switching stuff. I sucked at that job so
you weren't
fucking
bad. You were not a logistics person.
Every single day, I'd pop in our office and be like, "I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you your meeting started 10 minutes ago.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry, I forgot to get your receipts for this thing, and now you have to pay for it. I'm sorry, but I sucked. When I tell you, I stayed fucking up, and they tried to give me like other tasks, and I fucked all those up, and like
more.
And then I started to get, I'm like, I'm only here because I'm a veteran, and they felt bad for me, and now they're stuck with me, and I suck, and like blah blah blah, and like, but at the same time, I had access to, because Comedy Central and all this stuff, a lot of that was before like internet, I guess you'd say, like old Comedy Central. They had this giant file system where you could read the script of any show, any special, anything ever that was on Comedy Central. So I would go back through and read these. I could sit on my lunch break and read these amazing comedy scripts or read these amazing stand-up specials and like kind of study comedy a little bit. It was like and I sat next to the talent acquisition people who would go out at night to the clubs and watch open mics and be like, this person's on the rise, we're going to take note. And they would let me come along with them and sit at all these shows in New York. And then I found other veterans. We started a sketch group, and I started doing stand-up, and I started doing improv. And like, I just besides sucking at my job, it was an amazing window into like the comedy world and the way all that shit worked.
Yeah, you're just taking advantage of the resources you got available.
Yeah, so I was there for like 2 years, and then I quit because I sucked at it so bad. I couldn't take it. I was like, I'm gonna do you guys a solid and quit, man.
Yeah, you just felt like it was time.
It's like, it's time. I knew I wasn't getting promoted, and like, whatever.
But you got everything. You got experience.
Yeah. I got to go to all the specials and show tapings and all that stuff, and like, which I was so in love with comedy. It still am. That it was awesome. So
So you get done with Comedy Central. Is this when you get linked up with Barstool? Is after this?
Then I got divorced.
Another misunderstanding.
Another huge. And my life, I was like so in love with this guy. I was like, this is it forever and ever and ever. And then
just getting out of the military was the same.
Yeah, and it happens to like the divorce rate in the military is like 75% or some shit like that. So went our different ways, but I was like so heartbroken. It's real when people are like, heartbreak is like real, and like, but like, I spiraled so hard.
I'm sorry you went through that.
Packed up my little Honda CRV in the middle of the night, and some dickhead, classic New York City, was like, left a note in my car. You're parked wrong. I'm calling the cop. Yeah. I'm like, not right now. I'm moving out. I'm like, But anyway, I moved back down to Pennsylvania, and my parents were like, oh, well, we just sold the house. Surprise. We're moving to like a 55 and up. And so my Aunt Peggy was like,
you're going through what does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
My whole life was in shambles. You
thought you'd come so far to do Marine and Comedy Central.
Yeah.
I had a point like that a couple of years ago too.
Oh yeah. I feel like but people like, and telling your friends back home, like, I work at Comedy Central in New York City, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and
you're Marine, yeah.
And
then you're back in Western Pennsylvania, like, what am I doing? And you're divorced.
And I was divorced. I was living in my Aunt Peggy's basement. I couldn't get a job.
There's a sitcom on this tub.
Yeah. She's like, dinner's ready. I'm like 30 years old scrambling up the steps. I'm like, is it chicken parm? Oh, I can't wait. Like, yeah. It was. It was a very sad time. But I was a UPS driver helper. I couldn't get a job.
Okay.
I was a UPS driver helper at Christmas. And like, that's the person who's like running through the yards with the packages, like stepping in dog shit. And like, I think it made like $11 an hour. Yeah. And that was
I feel your pain here. This is a tough scene.
I know. I still have the card from my driver that I worked for. You work for the same driver the whole time. And he was like a father of 4 working his ass off. It was a bunch of cash in it. He's like, life's going to get better for you. like
good. I hope so.
Thanks, UPS driver, man. But anyway, did that for a while. And then my family helped me get a job at the convention center and where the 76ers play, Wells Fargo Center.
So you get back into Philly.
Got back. I was back in Philly, and I was working concessions. So I went from being like, I'm Comedy Central, New York City, to my friends attending a 76ers game, and I'm in a hairnet scooping popcorn, being like, oh my God.
So much. Because
Carol.
Similar.
Yeah, it's like.
I went through something so similar, making salads back in college.
Incredibly humbling. And at the same time, too, though, met the coolest people. Like Rita from South Philly, who's worked at Wells Fargo since 1982. Blah, blah, blah. Like you can't smoke in the back, Rita. You can't, But I met the coolest people. Finally started getting out of my funk a little bit. Enrolled. I was going to be a dental hygienist then, was my new life plan.
Okay.
Started going to Delaware County Community College. Got my own place. I was back on the GI Bill again.
All right.
Got my own place. I was still working concessions, but like I was super busy now. I had a lot of good stuff going on. And then I had a friend there. I started going to comedy shows and stuff. I wasn't doing comedy yet, but I made a friend there who started encouraging me to go to open mics. And then I finally started to write again and look at the divorce and be like, what's funny about this? Because at first I was like, there's nothing funny about this. I'm never going to laugh
There's always
again.
humor in everything. It's just kind of dark sometimes.
And like for like 2 years, I couldn't find the humor in anything, like anything. And I finally started to write and I was like, oh my God, there's endless funny shit about what happened. Oh my God. Like suddenly the divorce was kind of funny to me. Like everything was funny again. And I started doing open mics. I started creating a Twitter account and trying to be funny. And that's where Chaps found me on Twitter.
Okay. So Chaps found you on Twitter.
Yeah. I was, because the military connection, I had tweeted a calzone that looked like a vagina. And that's what, yeah. Yeah. It had nothing to do with the military. And people tagged him in it. They're like, Chaps, check out this pussy calzone, blah, blah, blah. So he slid in my DMs and was like, can I blog your pussy calzone, milady? And I said, of course.
I mean.
Yeah. And I was like, what is Barstool? I didn't know anything about Barstool.
Like, what year was this? It's been a while.
Oh my God, 2018 maybe?
Yeah, okay.
It was a while ago. So I start Googling, but I'm like, what is Barstool? And I was like, oh no. Like, because at the time, people were not loving it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, yes, by all means. And Chaps is awesome. He said, come on Zero Blog 30 as a guest and talk about the FET team thing. And I did. And I came on as a guest. And then afterwards, we were just talking. And I think it was apparent that I was still kind of down bad in general, just as a human being. And he started paying me out of his own pocket to do their social media. Oh. Yep. He started paying me himself. And then I had a little segment at the end of each ZBT, which was Kate's Corner. So I would hop on at the end for like 5 minutes and talk about awesome women veterans and blah, blah, blah. And then slowly but surely, I weaseled my way in.
Maneuvered in, huh?
And he got me an interview with Dave. And I went, because I had swore too when I left New York. I was like, I will never go back to New York City ever again in my life. And then lo and behold, there I am back in New York interviewing with Dave.
How'd that interview go with Mr. Ford?
I wore, because I still didn't quite get what Barstool was. I went to Kohl's in a panic. I bought a Lauren Conrad for Kohl's business suit.
Okay.
With like shoulder pads and like I had a resume. I was like,
and Dave's just like,
I walked in there and everyone was in basketball shorts and they're like, are you here to audit us or something? Like, who the fuck are you? And basically Dave was like, I don't need to see your resume or anything like that. What's your deal? And I was like, I'm a dental hygiene student in Delco. He's like, but then I was, sketch. I've done all these different things in comedy. I have my Twitter. Here are some writing samples. I had comedy work to show for it, for what I was lacking on, whatever. And he was like, if Chap says you're good, you're in. And that's it. So the next thing you know, then Barstool Radio started not too long after that. I thought I was going to be able to work from Philly. And maybe like a few weeks later, hey, show on Barstool Radio. And I wasn't going to say no to that. So for a while, I was going up to Philly, or from Philly, because I still lived in Philly, and I was staying in hostels in New York.
Oh, wow.
Just to do, because our show was 10 to midnight that we had on Barstool Radio.
Yeah,
so I was like staying in hostels in Chinatown because I was too afraid to ask for a hotel because this job still felt too good to be true. And I didn't want to like push it and be annoying. So I was like, all right, good night, guys. Great show. And then I would like go down and sleep in a bunk bed with like 15 other goofy people. And after a while, they're like, you need to stop doing that. And you can move up here and whatever. So yeah, it was.
So you moved to New York in
2018 probably is the timeline for that. And ever since. And at first I was living with 2 other Barstool employees in like a shoebox in Queens. And I lived in a sunroom on an air mattress. And like, so, life is a rolling, it has ups and downs.
I'm so glad.
And then,
this has been awesome to hear the story. You've got your story is incredible. So you did and then you were in New York, I guess, till last year.
And when Big Cat was like, hey, going to Chicago. Yeah, I will go anywhere Barstool wants me. Do you want me to go to Antarctica? I'll live there because I was so excited. It's hard to come back from maternity leave because you are worried about, you're with your baby 24/7 and you feel like
You're so attached
and you love them more than words can say, but it feels so awesome to be like, maternity leave's over and I get to go back to work instead of I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
I felt
Not
like
a job you dread. You can't go kick it with Big Cat and the boys.
I could not wait, without sounding like a bad mom. I could not wait to get back and see I like everyone I work with. I love everything I get to do. Like, how lucky are we?
We are. We're the luckiest people in the world. I feel this vibe so much.
I know. Yeah.
I feel, God, this has been great. I've loved
lucky to be
story.
here.
I'm so glad you came on. This is awesome.
So thanks for having me.
Now you're in Chicago, obviously back off maternity leave, back on the Yak.
Yep.
Here we are.
Spring's coming. I got a little mini roof deck.
I can't believe I wore shorts in February yesterday.
What a treat.
Chicago. I was like, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, we're getting ice cream tonight. I don't want to brag.
Uh-oh.
The whole family's probably getting ice cream.
Whole family's getting ice cream.
Just saying.
I mean, what a time.
I know.
What a time to be alive. Well, I just want to say thank you so much because this was awesome. Moody, like, how cool is this? I mean, this was my favorite interview I think we've had.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think this has been my favorite guest we've had as well. Not to throw shade at anybody else, but Kate,
everyone else sucks.
Done a great job.
Awesome. No, this is great. I love talking about me.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love doing the back. So as far as Barstool stuff, obviously you're still part of ZBT.
Yep, Zero Blog 30 still going strong. We just got to
weekly episodes.
Put out weekly episodes every Tuesday. An episode comes out. We just got sponsored by the VFW.
Oh,
so I'm going to be checking out all the Chicago VFWs.
Ooh.
Who has the best wing night? Who has the best spaghetti?
Okay.
No, I don't know, but I'm going to find it out. I'm excited. Yeah, still do ZBT, still do the Yak every day, noon Central, and starting blogging again before I get yelled at by Nate.
Yeah.
So that too.
There you go. All right, well, awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you again. This was so cool getting to hear. I'm loving, we're kind of, as Wake Up Mintzy evolves, I'm loving having the different guests from Barstool and getting to hear their backstories. Moody, I think we've kind of found something here. And I just appreciate Kate's time so much. And thanks to Dude Wipes cleaning up messes.
I got to tell you, I'll say it. After you have a baby, ladies, you need them.
They're unbelievable products.
They are.
I mean, I like I said, it's cool to be sponsored by someone's product they use all the time. But I mean, and they've got all kinds of stuff too. Look at all this other stuff they got. They got like toilet cleaner and spray and the wipes. I mean, unbelievable. You can find them at Walmart, Target, and other places nationwide. They're on Amazon as well. I guess we're up, got full hour. Third show in a row. We've gone like over 50 minutes, Moody. We're lengthening this thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting yelled at first because we were doing like 30-minute shows. Here we are doing a full hour now.
I know, we're killing it. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks to Kate so much for joining us. Thanks to Dude Wipes for sponsoring Wake Up Mintzy. Thanks to Tyler Moody. As always, appreciate all you guys, and let's keep it rolling. Let's keep this momentum going. What's up, fellas? As y'all know, it's been a hell of a messy year. And the only thing messier than my online history are my big old fat sweaty dumps. That's why this season, I only trust Dude Wipes to handle my Mississippi mud pies.
Oh, Mintzy, you're cooking now. Ooh.